My beloved child, there is something the universe wants you to understand today, something that has been hidden quietly behind the ordinary moments of your life. Long before you realized it, before you even understood the depth of the connection that was forming, your soulmate made a silent promise in their heart. It was not a promise spoken out loud where the world could hear it. No one stood beside them to witness it, no ceremony marked the moment, and no words were written down. Yet in the quiet chambers of their soul, they made a vow connected to you. It happened in a moment when they felt something they could not explain, a pull stronger than logic, stronger than fear, and stronger than the voices around them telling them to ignore it. That promise was simple yet powerful. Somehow, someday, they would protect the bond that existed between you, even if the world never understood it. At that time their heart was pure with certainty. They believed that no matter what storms came, nothing would change what they felt. But life has a way of testing promises made in quiet moments. Time began to move, and the path ahead did not remain simple. Circumstances appeared that neither of you expected. Responsibilities, expectations, and the complicated reality of the world started pressing against that quiet vow. Your soulmate began to feel the weight of choices they never imagined they would have to make. In the beginning they fought it inside themselves. They reminded their heart of the promise they made about you. They tried to hold on to the feeling that once felt so clear and unbreakable. But sometimes the world surrounds a person with voices so loud that even the strongest heart begins to doubt its own truth. Family expectations, fear of judgment, and the pressure to follow a path that others approved of slowly began to shape the decisions around them. It was not that they stopped caring about you. In fact, the opposite is true. The more they tried to move forward with the life that was expected of them, the more the memory of that silent promise echoed inside them. Every time they thought they had finally quieted it, something small would bring it back, a song, a familiar place, a random moment of stillness that reminded them of the connection they once felt with you. That promise had rooted itself deep in their soul, and even when they tried to ignore it, it refused to disappear. You might have sensed something strange in your own heart during this time. Perhaps there were moments when you felt a sudden wave of emotion without understanding why, or a quiet feeling that someone somewhere was thinking of you. These moments were not accidents. Souls that are deeply connected often communicate in ways the mind cannot easily explain. Even when distance, silence, or circumstances stand between them, the energy of that bond continues to move quietly beneath the surface. But something did change, and this is the part that the universe wants you to understand without bitterness. Your soulmate reached a crossroads where the promise they made to their heart collided with the expectations placed on their life. In that moment, fear became louder than faith. They chose a direction that seemed safer, a path that appeared to bring stability and approval from the world around them. From the outside, it might look like they simply moved on or forgot what once existed between you. Yet inside them, the truth is far more complicated. The silent promise was never truly erased. Instead it became something they carried quietly, a memory that sometimes feels like a soft light and sometimes like a weight they cannot fully explain. There are nights when they look back and wonder what life would have been if they had followed the voice of their heart instead of the pressure of the world. They replay certain memories in their mind, trying to understand why the connection with you felt so different from anything else. Even now, there are moments when they feel your presence in a way that surprises them. A sudden thought of you may appear when they least expect it, reminding them that the promise they once made still exists somewhere in the deeper layers of their soul. And you, my child, were never meant to carry anger about this. The universe does not show you this truth so that your heart becomes heavy. Instead, it is showing you how powerful your connection truly was and still is. Not every promise made between souls is meant to unfold in the way people imagine. Some promises become lessons, some become memories that shape who we grow into, and some remain unfinished stories that continue guiding our hearts long after circumstances change. What matters is that the love connected to that promise was real in the moment it existed. It was not an illusion, and it was not meaningless. Even if the path shifted, the energy of that bond helped shape both of your journeys. Your soulmate is still growing, still learning, and still understanding the meaning of the choices they made. And you are also moving forward on your own path, becoming stronger and wiser with every experience. The universe wants you to know that nothing genuine is ever truly wasted. Every connection that touches the soul leaves behind a spark of transformation. One day the full meaning of this silent promise will become clear to both of you, whether that understanding comes through reunion, forgiveness, or simply a peaceful acceptance of what was meant to be. For now, trust that your story is still unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. The chapters ahead of you hold possibilities that are far greater than the pain of what once changed. And somewhere deep within the quiet places of the universe, the echo of that silent promise still exists, reminding both souls that what was once felt with pure truth can never completely disappear. My beloved child, there is still more that the universe wants you to understand, because the story between two souls does not simply end when circumstances change. Many people believe that when a promise shifts or a path separates, the connection itself disappears. But the truth is far deeper than that. A promise made from the heart creates an energy that continues to live quietly within both souls. Even if years pass, even if silence grows between two people, that invisible thread does not simply break. Your soulmate tried to convince themselves that the promise they once made could be left behind like an old memory, but the heart does not forget what it once recognized as home. There were moments in their life when everything seemed normal on the surface, when they followed the path that others expected them to walk, yet deep inside there was always a small voice asking a question they could never fully silence. That voice whispered about you, about the connection that once felt so powerful that it changed the way they saw the world. At first they tried to ignore it, telling themselves that life moves forward and that the past should remain where it belongs. But certain connections are not ordinary memories. They are spiritual imprints that remain alive in the soul. Every now and then something unexpected would happen, a familiar feeling, a dream that seemed too real, a sudden thought about you appearing without warning. These moments would remind them that the silent promise they made had not vanished. It had simply been buried beneath the noise of everyday life. Sometimes they would sit alone and reflect on the path they chose, wondering whether they misunderstood the meaning of the connection they felt with you. They would question whether fear had guided their decision more than truth. And in those quiet moments of reflection, they often realized something surprising: the bond they shared with you was different from any other relationship they experienced. It carried a depth that could not easily be explained by logic or circumstance. Yet life continued moving forward, and responsibilities grew heavier around them. The world rewards decisions that appear practical and stable, and your soulmate tried to build a life that matched those expectations. But even while doing so, there were times when their heart felt strangely distant from the life they created. Not because they wished harm on anyone or regretted every step they took, but because somewhere deep inside they knew that a piece of their story remained unfinished. That unfinished feeling is what the universe calls a spiritual echo. It is the quiet reminder that two souls once recognized each other on a deeper level. My child, you may have also felt the echo of this connection without fully understanding it. There may have been days when memories surfaced unexpectedly, or when you sensed that someone from your past was thinking about you even though there was no message or sign from them. These moments happen when souls remain energetically connected. Distance cannot fully erase what was once written into the spiritual fabric of two hearts. But the universe also wants you to understand something important. The purpose of this connection was never meant to trap your heart in endless waiting or pain. Sometimes a soulmate enters your life not to stay forever in the way you imagined, but to awaken a deeper part of your soul. Through this connection you learned the meaning of emotional depth, vulnerability, and spiritual recognition. Your heart expanded in ways it never had before, and that transformation became part of who you are. Your soulmate experienced a similar awakening through you. Even if their path moved in another direction, the impact of your presence changed them in ways they may still be discovering. There are lessons they continue to learn because of the connection they once shared with you. Over time, the universe often brings moments of clarity to those who walk away from something their heart once recognized. These realizations do not always come quickly. Sometimes they arrive years later, when a person finally understands the difference between the life they chose and the love they once felt. When that clarity arrives, it can be both beautiful and painful. Beautiful because they finally see the truth of what existed between two souls, and painful because they realize how rare that kind of connection truly is. Your soulmate may already be experiencing these moments of reflection, even if you know nothing about it. They might wonder about you more often than you realize. They might question how your life has unfolded and whether you found the happiness you deserve. And in those quiet reflections, the silent promise they once made returns to their thoughts like a distant echo. Yet my beloved child, the universe does not want you to measure your worth based on whether that promise is fulfilled in the way you once hoped. Your value, your purpose, and your destiny are far greater than a single chapter of your story. The connection you experienced was real, but it was also part of a larger journey designed to shape your soul. Sometimes the greatest love stories are not defined by possession or permanence, but by the transformation they create within us. Because of this connection, your heart has become stronger, wiser, and more capable of recognizing true emotional depth. The universe is preparing paths for you that you cannot yet see clearly. New people, new experiences, and new opportunities will continue appearing in your life, each carrying the potential to teach you something meaningful about yourself and about love. And whether your soulmate ever returns to your path or remains a memory written in the earlier chapters of your story, the truth remains the same: the love you shared was never meaningless. It was a spark that helped both souls grow, even if the journey unfolded differently than expected. One day, when you look back at this chapter of your life with a calm and peaceful heart, you will understand why the universe allowed it to happen exactly the way it did. You will see how every emotion you felt, every lesson you learned, and every moment of reflection shaped the person you were meant to become. And in that understanding, you will realize something powerful, that the silent promise your soulmate once made was not completely broken. In many ways, it fulfilled its purpose by awakening a love within your soul that will continue guiding you toward the future that truly belongs to you. My beloved child, the story of a silent promise between two souls does not fade the way ordinary memories do. Time may place distance between people, circumstances may build walls that seem impossible to cross, and life may lead both hearts down paths they never expected to walk, yet the energy created by a genuine connection continues to move quietly through the deeper layers of existence. Your soulmate once believed that the promise they made in their heart would remain strong no matter what the world placed in front of them. In the beginning, that belief felt unshakable. They saw the future through the lens of emotion, imagining that love alone would guide every decision and every step forward. But the reality of life slowly introduced challenges that tested the strength of that belief. Responsibilities grew heavier, expectations from family and society became louder, and the fear of disappointing the people around them began to cloud their sense of direction. In those moments, the human heart often struggles between what it feels and what it believes it must do. Your soulmate stood at that crossroads longer than anyone realized. From the outside, it may have looked like their decision came quickly or easily, but inside them there was a quiet battle that lasted far longer than anyone could see. They asked themselves questions that had no simple answers. Was the connection they felt with you a sign from the universe or just a beautiful moment that was never meant to last? Was it wiser to follow the expectations of the world or the voice of their heart that kept reminding them of you? These questions created storms within them that they rarely spoke about to anyone. Even when they chose the path that seemed safer, the memory of that silent promise continued to echo through their thoughts. There were days when they convinced themselves that moving forward was the only realistic choice, that the past must remain where it belongs so life could continue without confusion. Yet the soul does not operate by the same rules as logic. It remembers emotions with a depth that the mind cannot easily erase. Small things would bring your memory back to them in unexpected ways. A place they once visited, a melody that carried the same feeling they once experienced with you, or even a quiet moment late at night when their thoughts wandered freely without distraction. In those moments they would feel something they could not fully explain, a mixture of warmth and regret that reminded them of the promise they once made when their heart felt fearless. My beloved child, the universe wants you to understand that your presence in their life created a mark that cannot simply be erased by time. Not every connection between souls is meant to become a lifelong partnership in the way people imagine, but that does not make the connection less real or less meaningful. Some soul bonds are designed to awaken parts of the heart that would otherwise remain hidden. Through you, your soulmate discovered a level of emotional depth that changed the way they understood love. Before meeting you, they may have believed that relationships were defined by convenience, timing, and the expectations of the world around them. But your connection revealed something different, a feeling that was deeper than circumstance, a recognition that felt almost spiritual in nature. That realization became both a gift and a challenge for them. It was a gift because it showed them the possibility of a love that felt genuine and transformative. But it was also a challenge because once a soul experiences that kind of connection, it becomes difficult to ignore the difference between true emotional resonance and relationships built purely on practicality. Even now, there may be moments when your soulmate looks at the life they created and wonders why certain parts of their heart still feel unfinished. They may question whether they misunderstood the purpose of your connection or whether fear influenced their choices more than they realized at the time. These thoughts do not always appear as clear answers. Sometimes they arrive quietly as feelings that are difficult to describe, a subtle awareness that something in their past still carries meaning they have not fully understood. And you, my child, may have felt your own share of confusion during this journey. When a soulmate connection shifts unexpectedly, it often leaves behind unanswered questions that linger in the heart. You might have wondered why the universe allowed such a powerful bond to form if it was not meant to follow the path you once imagined. You might have questioned whether the emotions you felt were real or whether they were simply part of a temporary moment that life eventually erased. But the universe wants to reassure you of something important: the love and recognition that existed between you were never illusions. They were genuine experiences that helped shape the direction of both your lives. The purpose of a soulmate is not always to remain beside you forever. Sometimes the purpose is to awaken your spirit, to help you discover the depth of your own heart, and to prepare you for the future that awaits beyond the current chapter of your story. Because of this connection, you now understand the difference between superficial affection and the kind of love that touches the soul. That understanding is a powerful gift that will guide your future relationships and decisions in ways you may not yet fully see. The universe is constantly moving, constantly creating new possibilities and new paths for those who are willing to keep walking forward. Even when a chapter of life closes with unanswered questions, the story itself continues unfolding in ways that can still surprise the heart. Your soulmate may still be on their own journey of realization, slowly learning the lessons that your connection introduced into their life. Growth often takes time, and clarity does not always arrive when people expect it. Sometimes the understanding of a past choice appears years later, when the noise of the world becomes quieter and a person finally has the space to listen to their own heart again. Whether that moment of realization eventually leads them back into your life or simply brings them peace about what once existed between you is something only the universe can decide. What matters most right now is that you continue moving forward with courage and faith in your own path. Your life holds many chapters that have not yet been written, and the love that once touched your soul has already prepared you to recognize the beauty of future connections when they appear. Never believe that a changed promise means your story lost its value. On the contrary, the silent promise your soulmate once made became part of a greater design that helped shape both of your destinies. Even if the path you imagined together did not unfold in the way you expected, the connection itself continues to live within the deeper fabric of your journey. And somewhere within the quiet flow of time, the universe still holds the power to reveal truths that neither of you fully understand yet. My beloved child, as this chapter of the story reaches its final moment, there is one last truth the universe wants to place gently into your heart. Many people spend their lives believing that love is measured only by what stays, by who remains beside them forever, by promises that are fulfilled exactly the way they once imagined. But the universe sees love in a deeper and far more mysterious way. Sometimes the most powerful connections between souls are not defined by permanence, but by the transformation they awaken within the people who experience them. Your soulmate's silent promise was never meaningless, even if life eventually carried both of you in different directions. In the quiet moment when they made that vow inside their heart, something sacred was created between your souls. It was a recognition, a spiritual spark that connected two lives in a way neither of you could fully understand at the time. That spark did not disappear when circumstances changed. It became part of your personal growth, part of the emotional wisdom that now lives inside you. The universe allowed that promise to exist because it needed to awaken something important in both of your hearts. For your soulmate, that promise showed them the difference between ordinary affection and the rare depth of a soul connection. Even if they walked away from it, the memory of that feeling continues to shape the way they understand love. There may be days in their life when they cannot fully explain why certain memories return to them, why certain emotions appear when they think about the past, or why a quiet part of their heart still carries your presence like an echo. Those moments are not accidents. They are reminders of the promise that once lived within them, a promise that still exists somewhere deep in their soul even if life moved in another direction. And for you, my beloved child, the purpose of this connection was even greater. Through this experience, your heart discovered its own strength. You learned how deeply you are capable of loving, how powerfully your soul can recognize another soul, and how courageously you can continue moving forward even when life does not unfold the way you hoped. These lessons are not small things. They are the foundation of the person you are becoming. One day you will look back on this chapter of your life with a sense of calm understanding. The confusion and pain that once surrounded this connection will slowly transform into wisdom. You will realize that the universe was guiding you toward a deeper awareness of yourself and your purpose. The silent promise your soulmate made was never meant to trap your heart in longing. Instead, it served as a doorway that opened your spirit to the deeper meaning of love, growth, and destiny. And here is the final truth the universe wants you to carry forward: your story is not finished. The chapter involving your soulmate may have changed shape, but your life still holds countless possibilities waiting to unfold. There are paths you have not yet walked, people you have not yet met, and moments of joy you have not yet experienced. The love that once awakened your soul is not something that can ever be taken away from you. It has become part of your essence, part of the light that now exists within your heart. Whether your soulmate someday returns to your path or whether your lives continue separately is not the most important question anymore. The most important truth is that the connection helped both of you grow into the people you were meant to become. Sometimes two souls meet not to stay together forever, but to change each other forever. That kind of impact is rare, powerful, and deeply meaningful. So do not hold sadness about what changed. Instead, hold gratitude for what existed. Because in the vast story of the universe, very few people experience a connection strong enough to leave such a lasting imprint on the soul. You were one of those people, and that means your heart carries a kind of emotional depth that will guide you toward a future filled with understanding and genuine love. The universe is still writing your story, still shaping your destiny, still preparing moments that will one day make perfect sense when you look back. Trust that every step you take now is leading you toward something meaningful. And remember this always, my beloved child: the silent promise your soulmate once made did not truly disappear, it simply transformed into a lesson, a memory, and a quiet spiritual bond that will forever remain part of the journey that shaped both of your souls.